start, could you give us a whistle-stop tour of your career?
Sure. It's a very short tour and a simple one. So I joined the firm at Brabner Holden, as it was then known, in 1995 as a trainee, and I'm still here 28 years later. I'm a commercial lawyer by background, and I still do some legal work for clients, less and less, regrettably, as the years roll by. I've been the firm's managing partner since 2018. There you go, I've just strung out that whistle-stop tour as best I can. A one-firm person, as I hope it will remain.
And how did you decide commercial law was for you?
So I'm in many ways an accidental lawyer, and it's probably no coincidence I ended up as a commercial lawyer, where there's arguably less law to have to contend with. So I've always wanted to and seen my role as being a sort of commercial partner, trusted advisor to clients, not just a lawyer. And I guess what I've always enjoyed most and what I think I'm best at is just supporting them in negotiating deals and getting stuff done. And yeah, I think it probably is an area that's played to my limited strengths, and I haven't been held back by my many weaknesses. So I think it's suited to my attributes.
But you undersell yourself.
There's a method to my madness, is my point. Yeah.
It's obviously served you well. As you already said, you've been at Brabners 30 years now.
28, I'm not quite that old, but 28.
28, my maths.
Yeah.
What was it that originally attracted you to the firm, and what makes it such a great place to work now?
Well, what originally attracted me to the firm was they were the only firm that decided to take a chance on me. So I'd be lying if I said I was selecting Brabners over other firms. But look, they did. They saw something in me and they offered me a training contract, and I was delighted to accept. But all joking aside, even if I had other offers to choose from, I think I would have chosen Brabners because, and it remains the case now, ultimately it's all about the people and the culture. And the firm has grown and it's evolved through time, but fundamentally a lot of what I saw 30 years ago when I was accepting that training contract offer, it remains now. So yeah.
That's really unusual, isn't it, for a law firm to have retained all that was good about it all those years ago?
Yeah, well, it doesn't have to be that hard. I think it does require discipline and focus and being very clear about your USP. I think particularly on the back of growth, it's easy for firms to lose focus and end up almost in sort of no man's land, and you actually lose that essence of what really set you apart. So we do want to grow, growth, the right sort of growth, profitable, sustainable growth, aligned to a proper strategy, not growth for the sake of it. But it will never be at the expense of diluting or risking the things that we think set us apart and that we hold most dear. So, particularly around culture and retaining that sort of family feel within the firm, which I think doesn't have to be a victim of size. So I think so long as you're focused on the things that really set you apart and what you value, it is possible to retain that for the long term.
Yeah, well, you've shown that. Have you ever been tempted to leave?
No.
I'll leave it there. What's been the proudest moment of your career so far?
So, based on what has made my mum most proud, I suppose I ought to say becoming managing partner, which made her very proud. So, yeah, 2018. I sometimes think, I'm almost 50 now, I sometimes think Mum still thinks I'm 18. She still gets very excited about anything to do with Brabners that she reads in the news. So all joking aside, I'm happy to take reflective glory in whatever makes Mum and Dad happy and proud. So yeah, that's the standout career-defining moment, I guess.
That's lovely to have your family so supportive though. Could you explain a little bit about your role as managing partner and what that entails?
Sure. So it's a broad and varied role. No 2 days the same. I try and lead from the front and lead by example, but I always say I'm very much just first amongst equals. This isn't about me, it's about team. Together with the senior leadership team, I guess my focus is on setting the strategic direction of the firm, creating a clear sense of purpose, ambition, drive, energy. And I see it as my role as really setting the sort of tone and creating the environment for everyone to feel empowered, to step up, to contribute, to progress, to fulfill their ambitions here. It genuinely is about creating a sort of team environment. More specifically, the way I try and focus my time is broadly into sort of three areas: people, profile, and clients. So with people, it's about nurturing and supporting colleagues to achieve their ambitions here. It's about spending time managing the partnership, as the title suggests. And also I spend a lot of time on recruitment, as you know, which of course is how I know Realm and other agents. So I probably spend more time on recruitment, generally at the senior level, than many others in my position. Partly because I enjoy it, I think partly because it's a way in which we can differentiate and sort of demonstrate a more personalised, hands-on approach. When it comes to profile, I see the role as being, to an extent, a sort of ambassadorial role, you know, amongst many others, being the sort of public face of the firm. And then with clients, I try and spend time supporting others with helping to win and manage key client relationships.
Yeah, I mean, you say there that you spend more than most in your position on recruitment, but I think as well on the nurturing of colleague side of things as well, I get the impression that you're much more, you know what's going on a day-to-day level. I don't think that's necessarily always the case.
Yeah, that comes back to culture. It probably reflects the fact that I've come through the ranks. And if I look at how the firm has evolved in the partnership, I think we strike a nice balance. On the one hand, you know, the bedrock of the foundation of the firm, which is all about people, I'm by no means alone. There's a lot of us who have come through the ranks together, and I think it's a good sign that there's a good number of us who are sort of one firm people. But then it's mixing that with the right sort of people who come from different firms, often from bigger firms, who have different experience and maybe different expertise on the back of that, who bring a different perspective, bring their own ambition, but in a way that fits in with our culture. It's back to the picking the right personalities and avoiding sort of ego. And ensuring everyone genuinely is a team player. So I think we strike a nice balance between, there's still a lot here that feels very familiar to those who've been here their whole career, but there's also a sense of excitement that it feels like the firm's got its mojo, it's on the front foot, and it's heading in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a hard balance to strike, but I feel like you're doing a pretty good job by the sounds of it.
Thank you.
Is there anything else that you'd like to achieve in your career?
A lot more of the same, really. I've still got tons to give. I see it, continuing here. I've still got as much drive and ambition for myself and for the firm, more importantly, as I ever have. But really, it's just more of the same. There's no specific goals in mind. I'd like to see the firm continue to grow in the right way and to thrive. And I do genuinely see, my role ultimately will be, in the context of a firm with a 200-year plus heritage, I'm merely the custodian for what will be a fairly short space of time in the history of the firm. And it's not for me to want to, and I certainly don't want to radically change the firm. Fundamentally, there's a lot about the firm that's great already, but definitely keen to push it forward in the right way and make sure that the firm that I step away from when it's my time to step aside is, even stronger, but has retained that culture, retained the family feel, is still unashamedly a nice place to work, full of nice people, but in a really good, strong, profitable position.
Can you tell us something people might not know about you?
Again, I'll tell you three things if you want.
Being spoiled today.
I'm greedy. So I'm very tall. You might know, others might not, but I'm shrinking. So I topped out at 6'6", and I recently discovered, I know I'm oversharing, but that's often my way. I'm merely 6'5½", and when I asked why, slightly depressingly, it was pointed out that apparently most men after the age of 40 shrink half an inch a decade. I am about to approach my 50th year, so I'm proof that that is true. So I'm very tall. I have an A-level in Latin, but it turns out I wasn't as academically gifted as I obviously thought I was when I was 16, and I chose my A-levels because, having chosen to do A-level Latin, I limped through with great difficulty 2 years, and I managed to scrape a C, which I'm quite proud of. And my third interesting fact, or fact that you might not be aware of, is I have probably my solitary hidden talent is I'm a keen drummer. I've played drums since I was a small boy, which is why I'm a foot tapper. I hope I haven't been tapping my feet while we've been talking, but
Yeah, I've always wanted to play the drums. It looks so much fun.
it's a good de-stressor.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
And to be fair, I think you see in Latin, that's a pretty good achievement, I would have said.
Yeah.
I never did Latin myself. But
Almost as good as my D in general studies. But I did get 1A, but anyway. It's not about academics.
It's not about academics. No. Thanks, Nick.
My pleasure.